and welcome to Happy You Asked, the podcast where we explore a little thing called happiness, one awkward conversation at a time. And I am your unlikely host, Erin Clare. I'm joined today by Dr. Heather Carver. Heather is a professor, performer, playwright, and performance studies researcher. Heather began studying acting, musical theater, clowning, and improvisation at Camelot Academy and the Coterie Theater in Kansas City. She went on to earn degrees at Northwestern, close enough to Northeastern, it's close enough, Arizona State University, and the University of Texas. And since 2000, she has been a professor of acting, playwriting, and performance at the University of Missouri, where she has annually directed the Life and Literature and Performance series and co-created the Troubling Violence Performance Troupe. Heather has written and co-written several books, articles, and plays, in addition to producing and co-directing award-winning documentary films. She's been honored by the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival and the National Communication Association for her performance work. As well, Heather is a breast cancer survivor of 28 years, I believe. 28 years. Amazing.
No, it's been 20 years.
20 years, which is amazing. Equally amazing. That's incredible. So in 2021, when Heather was given the Leslie Irene Koger Award from the NCA, they said of her that Heather Carver's career in performance studies has been exemplary. Dr. Carver models the artist-scholar dynamic with a steadiness of inquiry, a boldness of tongue, and a softness of reflexivity. Dr. Carver's performance work exemplifies the highest standards of artistic excellence and social efficacy in performance studies methodologies. Dr. Carver's solo work, which explores issues with breast cancer, and directing work, which engages the difficulty and complexity of domestic violence, provides, as one reviewer writes, strategies that are moving and inspiring, a brave and empathetic connection to people facing similar challenges. Heather, welcome to Happy You Asked.
Thank you.
Now, Heather and I got my PhD from the University of Missouri, and that's where I know Heather from. An amazing, amazing human being, and so nice to see you again.
It's great to see you. And that just was a minute ago, wasn't it?
I know, right? Like yesterday. And now it's crazy how time goes, because now I'm an old hat professor administrator. Like,
when did that happen?
Exactly.
I do sometimes feel like time-wise, I do need a minute to place people because they don't look like they age to me. I mean, you really look like it was yesterday. I'm like, it's been a while though, hasn't it?
I know. I was explaining to somebody recently about why I love where my eldest is going to college. And it has all the fun, weird things that made me fall in love with college. Like she's going to a lecture last night from a guy who studies bugs, and he does every year on Halloween. He dresses up like a cockroach and gives a lecture on bugs. And to me, that sounds like heaven. That's my idea of heaven. And then I was like, but I don't get to do the weird stuff because I'm too important now. And I was whining.
Keep the weird stuff. It makes you just as important.
That's right. And I said, I vowed to myself, more weirdness in your job, Erin.
Exactly. Well, it is. I think it's funny because you are doing a podcast on happiness. I think it's key. I think keeping whatever we call it, whether it's our weirdness or our geekiness, or people are like now like embrace the nerd concept. They're like getting my nerd on or whatever. Like it's everything.
It 100% is. Even yesterday in a meeting with my advising team, I was talking about the weather, and one's like, oh yeah, it's perfect Wuthering Heights weather. And then we geeked out. We completely geeked out. Yes, it's Wuthering Heights weather. And then also Pride and Prejudice. And then also, let's talk about Little Women soon. It's going to be Little Women time. Like once snow falls.
It is. And also that's so funny because we're doing, season selection. And I didn't
Mm.
even think of that because one of the things being considered is Little Women. And I should have been, oh, well, we must do it during the season. We can't
Yes,
do
that
that in the spring. We have to do
100%. Because here we come a wassailing the whole thing. Oh,
exactly right.
cozy, cozy.
Absolutely. It's
Oh,
the
I love
epitome
that.
of cozy.
100%. And then we feel it like Amy, a damn Amy burning that.
Oh,
And I'm right down the road from Concord. So this is my
where you
area. And I've
going?
been there. Oh, have you been to Louis Smith Alcott's house? The
Not.
you need to go.
Is it
You
fabulous?
Oh, and in the attic they have the drawings from
Really?
Amy. Like
Oh, wow.
exactly. That's why you got to go to see them in person. Like the little academic heart just explodes with joy. It's all
Oh,
there,
but talk about getting your geek on.
right? Anytime I want, I can go
That
down there.
that sounds
When I
like me.
when
You
I
put
commute in on the train, I go
yeah,
past Walden Pond. I shit you not.
seriously?
I go past where his cabin was, and I'm like,
Kind of
damn it,
amazing.
there's
That's
what's
kind of
that?
interesting, right?
Yeah, it's
I'm in the middle of the country.
yes, you are.
We do tout Mark Twain, right?
As you should. Also,
You know.
also that painter. Who's the painter that's everywhere there?
Well, we actually have a lot. We have Bingham is an
That's what I was
important
thinking
painter,
of.
but Thomas Hart Benton
Yes,
is
Benton. Thomas Hart
like
Benton.
Thomas Hart Benton is amazing. The murals are quite fantastic. So, but those men, they always get noticed for what they do.
I know.
We
I
don't
know.
need to worry about them getting left behind now, do we?
I haven't even
Nobody's
gotten to
gonna forget Mark Twain or Thomas Hart Benton for
the minute I
sure.
start talking, I'm already geeking out. I haven't even asked the first question I ask
Oh,
everybody,
sorry, I'm going
which
too
is no, this is my fault. I'm so excited to talk to you. What is your definition of happiness, Heather Carver?
Ooh, a definition. I
I
thought we
know.
were going to talk about it. Um, I
Here's the thing, whatever you
I
say is
don't
right.
think right. I don't think that I'm going to be very original, but I do really believe that key to happiness um is a sense of contentment, I would say. But also um for me it would be being seen. I think that
Oh.
um, for me, the happiest times of my life are when both I'm being myself and I'm feeling seen for who I am,
Mm.
and what I have to contribute.
I
Um,
love that. No one said something like that yet, and I adore that because the two parts matter. Like it's not just being seen, but you're being authentically you and being seen.
yes, it's that, and I always end up sounding theatrical, right, with performance stays in my base, but we've been learning so much about masking, right, in everyday life and how many people as a neurodivergent person myself, how many people are always masking. So I feel like those moments of happiness are like I'm being who I am and I'm being seen for who I am. And it
Mm.
just feels awesome.
Oh,
Right.
it does.
I mean, that's
Oh.
that's what I feel like happiness is when those things are converging. You're saying what you want in the way you want, and you're being received. And it, you know, they don't have to like it,
Mhm.
right? But
Mhm.
there's something about that authenticity, like you named. So
Well, I love that because almost everybody, they have very similar answers. And a lot of it has to do with a connection to somebody or something, right? In community. And I'm like, that's pretty. But there's something missing from that. And I really think it's that authenticity. The older I get, the more I see like our project as humans, as many ways, is learning who you are. And that seems really easy on the surface. It's incredibly difficult to unpeel all the layers of society to find out what is your authentic self and do you what can that give to the world? Because
yes,
leaning into that authentic self, I find the more I do that, the better things are in general. Because I of course this doesn't mean our authentic self is perfect, but our authentic self cannot be a jerk, right? That wouldn't be true. They can't. They're a good person, but they're unique.
Yes.
And finding out who that person is and being okay with it, I think is like huge for a lifelong project. And that's when we really come into our own, I think.
Well, it's interesting because you'd think that I would have paid more attention when I was doing my studies. I did a lot of philosophy in college, to the fact that it was, I think, Socrates that is quoted for the concept of know thyself.
Yeah, yeah.
But for me, it really didn't resonate until Laurie Anderson gave a speech. I couldn't believe it. Here at the university, she came early in my career. So it was probably 20 years ago. I've been at
Mhm.
Mizzou for 25 years, very early. And somebody from the art department like calls me and says, "You wouldn't want to come over and see Laurie Anderson, would you?" And I said, "Yes. And I'll bring all my students." So I'm on the front row, like 4 feet away from this, icon for me personally. But when she quotes, right, the Greeks, somehow it just hit me, right? She was like, this is what I want to do. I just want the world. I just want people to think about, knowing yourself, right? It's the beginning of all wisdom. And I don't know. I rather hear it from her. There's so
Well,
much,
yeah, well, that's more relatable
with
than
the Greeks,
Socrates.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that, people keep attributing this to people through the years, right? What is it? Uh, Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet, no, to thine own self be true, right?
Yes.
It's right. So they're quoting all these guys through the years, and I'm like, no, it took Laurie Anderson saying it for me to go, know thyself, and I would add, be thyself, right?
Yes.
Because that's that knowing, but what is that hesitation space, if you will, between knowing and being, right?
Mm.
There's, and particularly with the concept of masking, right? Oh, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to act like I'm not who I am because I'm not going to get there, right? Because society is saying it. And how do you balance your life so that you can move beyond, right? We still know
Mm.
things have to happen, right? I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of nudists out there that would love
Mhm.
to go to work naked, right? Like, it's not all going to be there, but I do think that it is important that we keep striving for that, because I do think that society is constantly telling us other ways to make us happy, right?
Mm.
And the more that we rely on those other versions, the less I think we probably get away from our own.
And it's interesting you say that know thyself quote, because to me, when I was young, that meant like, no, you're, a girl from Painesville, Ohio, and here are your parents, and this is what it was all like very
Mhm.
external, like contextual. And now, much older, I'm like, no, to know thyself means what are the ways that your my brain works and my
Yes,
patterns, and how do I notice those patterns and then get rid of the ones that aren't working for me. It's like really know yourself, not know your, sort of facts and figures, but who you are and how you work internally. That's a much more difficult project.
absolutely. I have a doctoral student from Korea, and she did a performance in our class in which she talked about how odd it is for her that Americans define themselves as who they are by their job.
Mm.
So that if she asks the question, who are you? That most people start with their occupation, right? And now for her, she said it's deeply in family and family history. So it's more for her is, saying sentences like, I am my father so and so's daughter, I'm my mother so and so's daughter, like really tying it into, being the daughter of the people that came before, right? Very
Mhm.
ancestral based. But it's it's interesting because who you are, like, to define it, by that being the first thing that most people say, well, I am, right, is interesting because we're so much more than all these labels that we're given, right?
Mm.
I am, you know, at my heart, I'm probably more a lover of dogs and children than anything else.
Same, same.
Right? I mean, like, if you really want to know who I am, right? But we never go there. Like, I don't think I've ever introduced myself as maybe I should now. Hi, I'm Heather Carver. I'm a lover of dogs and children. and sometimes more in that order than the other way. But there's something about the things that really do make us happy that are not out front at all. Right.
100%. I mean, I could see myself like, I'm Erin. I really like dogs. I don't like children a whole lot except my own. And I really come across as grumpy and standoffish from anxiety. Hi.
Right. But it's there. I actually really do like children. I don't really like their parents. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know that I necessarily like the dog owners, right? Like, I
No,
mean, so
no.
it's funny because but these are true and interesting ways that we come across too,
Yeah.
right? In what we do. And ways that we're perceived and ways that we're happy to be perceived that way, even though that's not who we are. Right. Like if that makes you
Yeah.
feel better, you go right ahead. Right. If you think that I'm a lover of all people because I like to talk, go right ahead. What am I supposed to like advertise? No, actually.
No, not all of the people, but a lot of them I know. Anybody who watches video in public with sound on and no headphones, I don't like them. All right, I don't like them. Takes that little.
But there is something, and I do think I will say that I didn't know as much, because we're all kind of ignorant. I do think that I did, not because of any traditional domestic reasons why people think that you have children and you know yourself better. I think though that I have gotten to know myself more
Mhm.
because of the close focus I had to pay to myself on being a parent, mentor, person in the world, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that for me, I do not believe that all women need to procreate. Like, I don't believe in any of that. But for me, I think my parenting made me a better educator,
Mhm.
um, mostly because of the generation. I
Mm.
I think I've been I don't think I stink as an educator, but I think I was a different one before kids. But
Mm.
I right now, my daughters are 25 and 22.
How is that possible?
I know, right? It happens.
Oh.
But that's like the ages of my students and my grad students now, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I feel like that's so great because I actually know this generation.
Mhm.
And I was teaching long before I really got the generation, right? Because I wasn't in it because I was already a bit ahead of them when I started teaching. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I actually raised this generation.
Mhm.
So I connect in ways. It doesn't mean I get everything they do, but I have more of a relationship, more of a connection. I feel like there are things that I just know that I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Mhm.
And also it's slipping, right? For the younger ones. I teach right now an acting class, and they're mostly 18.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
they're still have many similarities with my now 22-year-old's generation, but I mean, I can tell.
Yeah,
I can tell
it's
we're
crazy
moving
how it
from
happens.
Generation Z to Generation Alpha, right? Like, I'm like, these are the cusp of the new ones, right? Um,
Well, one of the thing I found from being a parent is it helped me be understand myself a lot better because I could see the struggles that my kids were going through and be like, "Oh, I remember that," or "I felt that," or "Oh, that comes from me," and be able to see it in a sort of much gentler way than I would look at myself with the same struggles and with love. And so that helped me, be gentler with myself and just see, "Oh, you're a human being and look how wonderful your kid is struggling through this." And also help them in a way that I didn't know how to when I was their age.
Absolutely. And I think that that gives a talk about a perspective on happiness, right?
Yeah.
Like thinking through who our relationship is to them and how like much I know this is not a podcast on parenting,
It can be. It's a
but
podcast on everything,
I'm just
honestly.
right, but I'm just saying as far as sometimes, really looking at um where they are, what they're struggling with, and knowing that I think the generation performing now, this wasn't my parents didn't do this, but I have seen a lot of people who, they were told, you better not be this way because you'll be shunned from society.
Yep.
Right. And like thinking about this generation being told that and us saying, no, you go ahead and be you. Now I am
Mhm.
fortunate because my mother and father like supported me being who I am. I didn't
Mhm.
know that I had ADHD growing up. It just all makes sense.
Yeah. And
But
now
I
in
was
retrospect,
embraced for it, right? Like I wasn't put down for
Mhm.
things, right? And I think that has put me in a position that I think I have the ability to move a little swifter into contentment than
Mhm.
others, right? I talk with friends who are also in their mid 50s realizing they have ADHD and going, "Oh, this would have been so nice to know, but also all the things that make me who I am are ones that I got put down for as a kid," right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So then if I'm having kids that are also neurodivergent in their own ways, because of course, everybody's different, like just having it not be that mom is the one putting them down. Like I'm here to
Mhm.
help if society is doing that to you or others, but in no way, shape, or form am I going to tell you that something's wrong with you because this simply isn't, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had kids who did different things and it was awesome.
Well, what I love about that is, as a parent, it's more like oh, that's cool. Here's the way it's this going to challenge you. We can help, with these tools, but otherwise lean into it. There's nothing wrong with it. And what I like is that, now when we look at a spectrum of how people behave and the challenge, we all have challenges we're going to face. It's like, okay, well, to function in this particular society, we'll help you with this aspect, but you don't have to, hide the sort of glories of whatever it is, be it ADHD or anxiety, things like that. They all come with benefits and challenges. And it's sort of like the benefits are the part that got used to get lost, and they don't need to.
Absolutely. And also, again, I'm 57. So, we certainly in high school weren't um, thinking that nobody was gay or nobody, that kind of thing. But also, nothing was talked about. There was no support. There was
Hmm.
no, and certainly the concept of non-binary was not there as a way of people being able to say this is who I am, right?
Yeah.
That didn't exist as even anything for them to be finding external ways
Mhm.
of being who they are. So I think a lot of this generation is just not interested in the outside sources saying you don't get to be who you are because they're like,
Yeah.
what? I
Yeah.
am who I am, right? And I think to embrace that, and I think it's harder for the parent that wants something different to say, you'll never be accepted because there are
Mhm.
plenty, like Missouri, it's really tough right now for trans kids.
Mhm.
And, there are so many people trying to get out the message. We see you, we want you, we're here for you, that if somebody's trying to make someone not be who they are, there are outlets to say, okay, this is a struggle, but yet you're not alone. You really
Mhm.
aren't. And I think that has changed a lot since I was in high school.
Yeah, same. When I was in school, there was much stronger this pool that there's this idea of a normal. And here's the thing that we know from later, from much more psychological work, is everybody feels like an outsider, like the weirdo. That is the human condition. And so there's to lean into that and be like, yes, you are weird. everybody is. We all feel that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's how it's supposed to be. Your weirdness is your gift.
Yeah.
And now that we're more in that space, the people who are like, "But you're not normal." Everybody's more looks at them like, "Neither are you." Like,
Neither are you. And also, so many people who are able to express themselves are expressing themselves and getting that stress out. And there are
mhm,
people who are masking because either their parents say so, or the society says so, or the friends they think are friends say so. And they're not, they are far from happy,
yeah.
right? Because there's no ability to express who they are.
Yeah, and you can't if you can't be your authentic self, that's the component there. You have to be able to be your authentic self. And we'll say lean into it. It's fine. We'll support
Yes.
you. Come see
Well,
us.
come see us. And, there's so much these days with trying to, the entire, everybody thinks that um, there's randomness to what's going on in society with what is embraced and what isn't
Mhm.
embraced and here or there. But anti intellectualism has been forever because people don't want people learning things.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm
Knowledge is
not
power.
and I'm not the most I'm definitely not pretentious, or elitist on my mind, and it's amazing to have people try and act like that's, what academia is
Yeah,
anymore.
you don't know any of us because
You don't know anyways because you don't
no.
want but as a cancer survivor, it always fascinates me, because I go to the hospital for regular checkups and I call it maintenance. It makes me sound like a car, but
I no, I
for a
call
tune-up.
my tune up. Yes, my
Yeah,
oil
right.
change.
That's right. I was always joking that it was a spa day, and then I'm like, no, people are gonna think that I'm actually like getting a massage or something wonderful. But I sit in the waiting room and I think, do the people who are anti academia, anti education, those kinds of feelings, that they espouse, do they realize that everyone has an education that is helping them through this time? Right? I mean, there's nobody that works in a hospital that doesn't have an education, from the person that checks you in to the advanced degrees of, the medical community that save your life, right? And I'm like, even just being in present here, you will not engage with anyone without an education, and yet you're against it. And now's your moment. And how does that make sense or not make sense? Or how is that not seen? Right? Like,
Mm,
I'm like, I just want to stand up and say it, right? Like, do you not see the people working to help save your life,
yeah.
are doing this because of being curious in the world, of
Yeah. Yeah.
knowledge, whatever knowledge they have, they went to seek it, right? And we're here because of that. And so I think
Yes. I
curiosity is also very important.
it is. And
Mhm.
you're exactly right. And I think part of it too is they know there's there are issues with higher education, the cost, all these
Oh,
things, but
absolutely.
they're not focused on the solution, rather just the punishment of something they don't like. And I mean, I'm always the thing I was like, well, what's the solution? If we focus there rather than complaining, something will get
Yeah.
done. And so unfortunately they're not thinking about that in a way that's productive. Just, punishing isn't gonna make it cheaper. It's not gonna do any of these
No.
things. So,
And the
that's
people
my issue.
and people are getting paid for their work,
Mhm.
but the people in a cancer hospital are special people. They
Yeah.
don't have to be there. They could be in other kinds of hospitals. They could be in different wings. They could be
Mhm.
doing different things. And so I think that's why I think it just really settles in for me, sort of thinking about what do you think? And also, is it gonna change your mind? Is it gonna
Mhm.
change your mind about, you know, the help that you get? Because also, at my cancer hospital, so first of all, I'm at University of Missouri is a land grant. It has a mission of helping the people of Missouri. The hospital associated with the university, same mission, right? So it's there to help the citizens of Missouri. Um, but at the same time, if you want to deny tax-paying dollars to those people getting educated, then where do you go when you have this horrible disease? Like, who's going to
Mhm.
help you? Because the idea would be that they're supporting you. And we also have a lot, because we are a research institution of folks from the global community, right? So if somebody is sitting there thinking that they're anti immigrant, those are often the people that are very interested in coming to help research and care for the people in the state of Missouri. And so that's a big, shift also in one's
Yeah.
mind, right? So I think there's something there about recognizing that humanity is behind everything that people are doing. They really can do something else with their life, but they're doing this. And yet, when people go to the voting booth, that they don't want to vote to support that effort, but it's really the effort toward taking care of them and the health of the community. So it's
Mhm.
a big conundrum. Like you said, like, you have a problem with this, but yet it's your solution when you have a health issue,
Yeah.
right? We actually don't have another way of helping people with health because there's nothing there yet. I mean, I don't know. Some people think AI is going to solve everything, right?
I don't know, man.
I don't
I wouldn't
know.
pick it.
I don't think I would have been here for the 20 years as a stage 4 cancer survivor if it had all been AI helping me. I think there's a
Yeah,
human
yeah.
to help that matters.
So I bet how has being 20 years stage 4 cancer survivor, how do you think that shaped your happiness?
Well, that's an interesting question. I would say that with all agency that I have, it has made me be more bold, probably sooner than later. I actually, um, you know, I've never been shy, but in college, I was not um, as ready to be bold, I would say, in my undergraduate years as than my graduate years. But especially, I think a cancer diagnosis did something to me for this is how I feel. I need to take it from the inside and make it external.
Mm.
Right. And it's funny that you asked that at the same time as in my acting class yesterday. I was just talking with my students about how acting is about like you can do all the character analysis you want, but you have to move that into your body, into action to be able to share those emotions with an audience. Right. And so if it stays in your head, it's really not going anywhere, right? And that, we have to find ways to use our bodies as that vessel. And I think because I've always thought that, I think I just started saying, I have an experience that's not just about me. um I don't have to be a martyr for others, but by telling my story and performing my experiences, I know I'm also sharing experiences of people who aren't me, right? And they might be smarter or sassier or more fun or all the kinds of things in the world. But if they're not a performer, they're not getting their story heard. And look, I can do that. That's how I can contribute. I'm not I would never pass the exams to be a physician, right? And but this is what I do. And I think that when I gave myself sort of that permission to tell my story, show the patient side, but also it's my way, of survivorship is also not just in being a patient, but it's really tied to being a woman in academia who's still here. And when I combined all those threads, it gave me, yeah, I would say that it would gave me the courage, it gave me the strength to not just, yes, I've survived breast cancer, but yes, along the way, I've called out a lot about my area of society. I can't solve everyone's problems, but I certainly can call out what has been done for me And if luring people into the story through health and structures they understand shows a lot of what because the women who are taking care of one that have been through education in the cancer center have been through a lot more, right? They've had a lot of experiences. Our, colleagues, our peers of color have fought many different battles and had really lots of challenges. And so the more we talk about that, even if it's our piece of the world, I think there's something. So I think I got a lot. The key to my happiness was being even more who I am in my day to day and then really pushing that in performance. So
Mm,
I'm still me in performance, but I'm a different me,
yeah.
meaning I'm a louder one. I'm really interacting in the moment with the audience.
Mhm.
So I don't hesitate at all. If somebody answers their phone, I walk right up to them and talk to whoever called. Right? Like I'm extremely, it's still me. It's not a persona. It's not actually different. And I think that's why the whole clowning came through in my performances is I love clowning. It's so much fun because you get to be extra bold and extra big. And it's not really drag for me. But um people, because I'm so tall, for the listeners, growing up being around 5'11", almost, so
That's
in
how tall
shoes.
you are?
Yeah, so in shoes, 6 foot, right? So I mean, with any kind of, um height to them. So yeah, so being almost 6 foot when I put on, and the clown wig is really tall. Also, so me as a clown, right? A lot of people, just gender me as more masculine, and that's always been kind of fun for me, right?
Mhm.
I like the surprise of it. I like the uncomfortableness in whatever way. I When I first started doing my plays, the reason I used the clown metaphor was, yes, I took clown classes when I was young, but when my friend went to shave my head when my hair was falling out from chemo, she had always shaved her other friends. She was a nurse, down the sides over the ears to have the mohawk would be last, right?
Mhm.
She has no idea why she shaved down the middle of my head first. Like had never done that. And she did. And I truly had two puffs of curly hair on each side. And I did. I yelled, "Oh my gosh, I look like Bozo." And I yelled to my husband to go get my clown nose because I have clown noses everywhere in my life. I have a clown nose. And so I put it on, and that was a real moment for me that I was like, I'm so dramatic. I had been thinking I was going to be Joan of Arc getting my head shaved, right? Or one of the many Hollywood movies of people and I was like, no, this is me. I have a clown so the metaphor of clowning is like just as authentic as anything else in me. But it does bring a certain boldness out, right? It's not masking, it's actually revealing, if that makes
Yeah,
any
yeah.
sense. So
No, it does. I was
where
thinking about how, like, between my day job
yeah,
and the work I do there, as opposed to my yoga teaching, where it's
yes.
much more, but it's bolder version of me, the same me that exists, but much bolder and more like, because of the context, able to say ridiculous things willy-nilly.
Yes, and the asides that you say are real. They're just
Hmm.
not ones that might come out in certain meetings.
No, because it's just not appropriate at that time.
We put our bodies into different situations. There's something about uh the body and movement. I would never, I always say I'm not an expert in yoga. We just do yoga stretching in the acting classroom as a means of discovering, where we are with our
Yeah.
bodies before, because I teach it's 2 hours each time, so it's we have time for the tune up, as you and I would say, to just the daily, let's get into this practice. But it's that being in touch with your body does give you a boldness, right?
It
It does.
it does. Yeah, it does. And then it also reminds you that you can't hide from yourself. You bring your body and your mind back in, and whatever's going to hurt that day is going to hurt. And you can't like
Yes,
wish it away or wish it were different. You just, this is who I am
this is
today.
who I am. I had no idea, um, physically. I knew it mentally, that it would be an adjustment for people to see me just live my life without breasts, right? I hadn't put that completely into understanding until I just wore a tight t-shirt to do my show. That in itself was a far more political act. That, of course, I know it. I've studied, I read Judith Butler starting in grad school, right? I know gender trouble. But until I embodied it and realized my body is threatening, I haven't even opened my mouth with all my boldness, right?
Mhm.
But living in its way, and I wasn't even like, that part didn't even necessarily happen on purpose. I thought I would have construction because they told me that they could do it. Like, I thought that's what was done. I didn't really have pressure of anybody telling me I needed to do it. I just thought that's what I should do. So when I had my double mastectomy, they prepared me to have reconstruction. And I got staph infection and I almost died. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do anything more. Like, I don't need if I need surgery in my life, I'll take it for my health, but I'm not doing anything that isn't necessary. And that was just me. Again, not political, not telling other people what to do. But then when I show up in front of audiences in this way, right? Because I don't normally, I mean, I never have breasts, right? So I live my life without them and I wear shirts all the time, but I don't prefer tight ones. So, but I did not completely understand till I was there what a statement that was and how people responded to me. Um,
But you know what? The work that you have done by doing that for a while has made a difference. My mom, who's
yeah.
in her, mid to late 70s, had a double mastectomy. She didn't get reconstructive surgery. She didn't consider it. She was like, why should I? I
Mhm.
don't want them. And now, she walks around. She doesn't hide it. She is who she is. And that's because of work with people like you who just live their lives after, just live their lives.
Here we are. And also, I'm not, because they left it for reconstruction, I'm not um uh symmetrical. I think that's different too, right? I
Mhm.
had a really great, oh my goodness, it was quite an amazing opportunity. A graduate student of mine asked me if I would work on a play with them. They
Mhm.
came to me, and last year we performed a play that we performed together called A Pair of Boobs. And it was about how uh, they had had top surgery, because they're non-binary and they didn't want the breasts anymore. And we talked about the similarities and the differences between our
Mm.
bodies, our lives. I think we went into it thinking we had more dissimilarities, and we ended up really finding out how interesting it was, both growing up in Missouri, the ways in which our bodies made sense and didn't make sense, the ways in which we were seen, and then, our relationship with nature. We just found all kinds of things, but some major differences. I love birthdays because I've had breast cancer, right? Turns
Mhm.
out their grandmother died on their birthday.
Oh,
They
oh, how
hate
awful.
birthdays. They hate birthdays, and their grandmother died of breast cancer. So
Oh.
all of these connections we had that were really pretty deep, right?
Mhm.
And they have the same birthday as my daughter.
Oh, how lovely.
So we just it was, and we performed the show, and it was just magical for the audience to see. It gave them a place to speak of places they hadn't before. They didn't consider themselves a performer. They had come up through theater doing more dramaturgical work. And then for me to be sharing the stage, with this young person who I felt, and we have this whole thing where they're like, "You're brave." And I'm like, "No, you're brave. No, you're brave." And they're like, "We hate it when people tell us we're brave because we're just living our lives." Right. Like,
Just being a normal human being.
and for both of us, the breasts didn't belong,
Mm.
that they needed to go. And so there we were, wearing our overalls with nothing on under them in front of an audience and being like, "Take it or leave it. Like,
Yeah.
you're welcome to go." So that, I felt like I had to have an invitation. I never would have been that bold to ask or do that on my own. But they did tell me that through what I do made them have the courage to do that. And then I was like,
Oh,
well, now I got to do it because you
yeah.
really are
Now
brave
you
and I don't
gotta.
feel
Thanks.
brave. But I think it was a place for us to really reconcile a lot, right? And it turned out, and again, you tell people this and they think, "Oh, that's going to be," and we're like, we had a blast.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun for us. And then the audience got to witness part of our journey also. So
Mhm.
as a cancer survivor, you know, there is no golden path. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, but there's that in a lot of people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Fighting all kinds of disease. And I think that if the world could apply mental health more to physical health, because no one
Yeah.
asks that. No one asks me about the depression. Nobody asks
Yeah.
me about, the mental work, right? I mean, it's like they all think chemo's bad because you lose your hair. And I'm like, yeah, that was once a month for 6 months. It was no fun. It was awful. But you know what was hard? Every day getting radiation treatments, 90 treatments, because that's a mental, right? Yes, you lay on a table. Yes, it only takes 10 minutes, but it's every day getting up, going. And it's being in a waiting room with people who have no money, who
Yeah.
have people who had to quit their job, just like you had to quit your job to drive you 3 hours a day to get 10 minutes of
Mm.
radiation. And so, part of it is, it's not like, "Oh, your bad life, I'm going to feel better." I'm not vibing on anybody's trauma. What I'm doing is trying to recognize it and, like you said, make change. How can I make
Yeah.
change? I can
Yeah.
I can speak the patient's statement a little louder. I can work with the medical community to do the plays that I do so that we can have resolution. We do, right now, my students and I are devising a piece in our performance ethnography course on healthcare, and we're going
Mm.
to perform it next April. And it's their experiences, their interviews. We're asking people, and what was really surprising for a student was they thought that the doctor they were interviewing was going to say that COVID changed this person's life, and the guy was older, and he said 9/11 really changed my life. And
Mm.
the student then suddenly learns about 9/11, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's something that still a lot of people don't talk about unless it's going to the memorial. But the doctor said it changed my life because I was north of the city, and all the patients that could be transferred at ground zero
Mhm.
came to us
Yeah.
because they had to open the beds. And anyway, as the student is experiencing this and sort of re-experiencing it, I'm seeing how important, like, a lot of people were like, "Well, why do you want the doctor's story?" And I'm like, it's a
It's
story of
important.
all
It
of us.
matters. Yeah, it matters.
It's all of
Heather
us.
Carver, we're coming already to the end of our time.
Oh my
I can
goodness.
believe it. Isn't
Talking
that
to you is
wonderful?
so
I know.
fun.
I want to keep going. I have so many more things I want to talk to you about, so we'll have to do
Yes,
another one. But
absolutely.
you get one song to add to the playlist.
Ooh,
So this could be Happy US playlist, whatever song you want.
well, I love too many songs to pick one that's a favorite. But I will tell you, just because my friend just went to this concert, my college roommate called me up to tell me it was the best concert ever. And it was Cyndi Lauper. And she said, when she sang "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," I thought of you. And I
I
thought,
love
oh
it.
my gosh, I love that song. And when I found out that Cindy wrote it because in her era, girls had to do all like the housework while the guys got to go out and throw the football around, right?
Mm.
And domesticity. She wrote it because she was like, we want to go have fun too. I never knew that,
You never knew that either. I had no
so
idea. It makes it
I'm
even
going to
better.
pick that one.
I love it. That's perfect. Heather Carver, you are a joy. You are always a joy. And just please, just keep being you.
Well, here, I'll give you, because I always have them. Since you said
Oh,
this was would be recorded for
mhm. They- perfect.
for your listeners, I have on a big red nose.
Yes. And let's all follow Dr. Heather Carver's advice and be ourselves. Damn it.
Love it.
Know thyself. All right. Well, thank you for joining and thank you everyone for listening and see you soon.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.